What's up, everybody? In this video, we're talking about Multiverse Legends from March of the Machine. This powerful set within a set started all the way back in Strixhaven as powerful instants and sorceries from throughout MTG's history. They carried it over into Brothers War with artifacts, retro artifacts, and then they added a serialized treatment to those. While March of the Machine, they've kept the set within a set, and instead of instants and sorceries or artifacts, this time it's powerful legendary creatures from throughout MTG's history. This stream cut, we're going to talk about when to buy these cards, hopefully not financial advice that's going to save you some money. Make sure to use chapters below. That's going to make your viewing pleasure much more enjoyable if you're looking to skip around and find the exact information you're looking for. If you want to come catch a stream live, we're live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Let's get into it. We haven't really seen if there are going to be any in the aftermath, so for the sake of this video, we're just talking about March of the Machine and what we've seen. We're going to talk about the most valuable ones. Before we get into this, there are a couple things you should keep in mind, which are Brothers War and Strixhaven. Do not FOMO out over these. These are going to go through a massive adjustment in price. There are different ones that appear in draft and set boosters versus collector boosters. The Halo foil only appears in the collector booster product. Serialized cards only appear in the collector booster product. All the Multiverse Legends are going to have a serialized possibility, and then of 500, and then so are the 5 Praetors that flip. Those are all also going to be serialized. Yeah, I mean, we can kind of get into this. There is going to be a lot of like pre-sale prices that are going to go through massive adjustments.
For sure.
So it might behoove you to save this video and then come back in the future and see how big those adjustments are. Even stuff like Ragavan. I expect a lot of these to be entering the market, even though it's a mythic. Anytime a set comes out, even if it's a rare or a mythic, a lot of the time the price gets nuked on the card. How many of these are going to enter? Who knows? But I would expect Ragavan to go through a big price adjustment. So if you are looking for 1 or 2 or 4 or however many you need, this might be a good time to try to find one for a good price.
It's interesting. You've got the 2 Halo foils, which I'm assuming the Halo foils are those are the serialized
That's that new
ones, right?
foiling. Well, no. There's a Halo foil that is not serialized.
Got it.
And then there is a rainbow foil that kind of looks like the FTV foiling.
Yeah.
That is on the serialized cards. So you're going to have a different foiling between the Halo foil and the rainbow foil.
So nobody's promising in these pre-orders here that we're going to pull a serialized and we're going to sell it to you for $288. What they're promising with these is we're going to pull a Halo foil, at least one.
Yeah, which is going to be easy to acquire. If you're opening, like if you're a store doing, 60, 100 box openings to get inventory to sell, you're probably going to run across a Halo foil Ragavan.
When you can see this individual listing here, it's New World Manga. They got 25,000 plus sales. The only thing I see above that regularly is 50,000 plus, and so it's in that like second tier of highest sellers on the platform, which means they open a ton of product. They're promising one. We got 1 of 1 available here, and they've initially listed it at 288. The Halo foil of Ragavan. As far as the 1 month chart goes, it has considerably just gone up from 300 to 340 because of FOMO.
Adjustment. I am going to be really interested to see what the price of this card does in the future.
But you can already see it
that
dropping.
Yeah, exactly. Any of the Halo foils that are going to be playable commanders, those might have a little bit of a premium, but like we've seen with a lot of sets from Wizards of the Coast, it's just more stuff. It's just more cards printed in more variants. It's just another thing to chase. And one thing I have noticed in a lot of the comments on our videos is there does appear, unless there's a coalition of people that want to pretend that there does appear to be a lot of wallet fatigue. There's just so much back-to-back Magic stuff to buy that it's really hard to ooh and ah over all of the stuff that's supposed to be special and crazy. When we go back to Kaladesh or Battle for Zendikar, when we first saw the chase cards that appeared in the draft boxes, dude, that was something that people were just like, no way, they did this? This is nuts. This is crazy. Yeah, I mean, here we are now, and it's just like, oh, they made a big list of great reprint cards and some not so good. Cool. It's pretty sweet.
Sales history on Halo foil Atraxa. First one sold at 175. Public sale here on 330. And now we've already dropped down to 147. Near mint foil there on 4.5, which was today. And that's sort of setting the price. Connor Mraz in chat, you nailed it. You hit the nail on the head. Some of the FOMO is non-existent and just big numbers made up by sellers hoping someone buys it. That's what all
100%.
That's what all this early hype is. You're 100% right. Coming in at third, so you've got Ragavan and Atraxa. I think it's safe to say that Ragavan and Atraxa are the two most hyped right now in this group of Multiverse Legends, appearing at over 140 for Atraxa currently as of the 5th, and nearly $300 for the Halo Foil Ragavan Masterpiece. The next one goes down to 92 and 48, as you can see right there, just for the regular non-foil, not gonna bend. You guaranteed that it's a playable copy of Ragavan, and you got sales.
Big adjustment,
dude.
Big
Yeah, seriously,
adjustment.
look at these. You're over 200, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 copies sold over $200. A week later or so, a little more than a week later, we're under 100 and dropping.
Do keep in mind, chat, again, in case you didn't hear it in the beginning of this segment, these are going to appear in set and draft boosters. You will be able to find these Multiverse Legends cards in those products. It will not be at the same frequency, but I do believe that draft boosters are going to have one Multiverse Legends card in every pack. So if there are uncommons and stuff like that, those are going to have their price absolutely tanked. Please, please do not overpay for these. Give it time, just like everything, and you'll see massive adjustments on this stuff.
You can find Multiverse Legends in draft and set boosters in traditional foil and non-foil. A third of the time, the non-foils will be rare or mythic, so you can pull them.
This is going to be a great time to get Ragavan. I'll just say that straight up.
So.
It's going to be a good time to get Ragavan.
I really think so. Your third most expensive, I'm going to say third most expensive, even though it is actually the 5th most expensive currently, according to pre-order prices, is the Icar Phyrexian treatment of Skitharix the Blight Dragon.
This is a good card too.
Looking at our sales history here, this one's not had a huge change, but starting at 40, going down to 30, you know.
Lost about 25%.
Right, I was going to say percentage-wise, pretty big fall.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected in these pre-order prices. But this is going to be, bro, this is a desired treatment of this card, right? I mean,
it's a desired treatment, but it really does come down to the frequency at which we see them appear. One in every pack. I mean, the packs are going to be fun to open.
When you're also going to get the foil etched versions of the base art for a lot of these. And so that's going to add to the available supply. But you can see this has only been reprinted once.
Dosey-Do is absolutely right. Buy these 2 months after the release. Not financial advice, but yeah, that's probably about the window you want to look for.
But I mean, looking at this,
2 months.
Like, if I want to run Skitharix in a deck, this is the one I want. And now we've seen...
Or the etched one. Some people really like the etched one too.
People like the etched stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I honestly think if you can start picking these up, if these drop as low as like $15, $20, this to me seems like one in particular that will go back up.
Oh, they'll get soaked up. Yeah, you just have to give it plenty of time in like 2 or 3 or even 4 years to look at the price of some of these cards from the start of the variant era,
right,
and see where they went. I've had some weird stuff go up in price. The Royal Scions borderless foil from Throne of Eldraine. I remember buying a Japanese copy for like 30 or 40 bucks when that set had been out a little bit. Now Throne of Eldraine is long gone. I made sure to buy the borderless Oko as well, and those cards have gone up in price. And so, you know, we'll just have to see, because if Wizards of the Coast is just like, we did Skitharix again and again and again, then it could hurt the price. But I think you're right. If it does dip down to 15, yeah, that's low risk. It probably won't go much lower than that. And then when it is out of sight, out of mind, and people are like, oh, I want to build this deck and I need Skitharix, and yeah, the price does creep up to 20. Yeah. It does go up to 25, and it does go up to 30 over time.
Right, exactly. Long term, this seems like a possible $30, $40 card, $50 card, potentially, depending on how often it's reprinted, just like you said.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we look at the Skitharix before this reprint was was announced? Where's the one? Why don't we just use Double Masters as an example? I think there was one from then.
So market price 42 is where we peaked on this one, but we were down into the 18, 19, 17s. And this is just a straight reprint with a different mana symbol and the legendary frame. Yeah. Because it didn't have the legendary frame in on the list or in Scars of Mirrodin.
And that is just since Double Masters.
Right. I mean, look at the Scars of Mirrodin pre-reprint. We can't even get over there.
Yeah.
Same. 40s. I like that one more than... It's kind of funny. I like that one more than the Atraxa over time. Just because Atraxa seems like, you know... We got a lot of copies of it. Yarok. And that's recency bias, saying we got a lot of them. We got a lot of Atraxas recently. The Double Masters. We got the Secret Lair. We got the Showcase in Double Masters. It's popped up in 2 different Commander products, and now we got it here.
Right.
And so,
yeah, dude, it's a lot. It's a lot. And they know it's a popular card, so they reprint it, and eventually
and it makes sense to print it around the Phyrexia set, especially when it's a character in the story. And so, you know, 2 years from now, are we going to be going, man, when are they even ever going to reprint Atraxa again? We got to have some kind of Commander set that is willing to dip into history, like the first Commander Legends set. We got Yarok after that. Yarok's the next one down. On this one, we got the foil etched coming in above the Showcase. We only have one public purchase on TCG Player anyway, showing our $35 price here. I actually prefer the Showcase on this one just because it's got the different art. And this new art is pretty sick, if you ask me. And I like the Zendikar Rising frame. I think this Zendikar frame is pretty sweet with the triangles. I think I have a thing for triangles, though. Elish Norn under that. And this is that Ichor treatment of a classic Commander card.
Yeah, this is the OG reimagined.
Right. Elish Norn. Talk about reprints. OG, Phyrexian, Masters, Secret Lair. That's not paper. Ichor, and now foil etched.
One thing that you could do is you could figure out the popularity of a card based on the number of variants it has. If you knew nothing about MTG, that would be one way to like figure out, oh, what cards are valuable. It's the ones that have just like the most variants. It's just ridiculous. For me, I don't really know how much, when a card is this readily available, I don't really know how the price can eclipse a certain cap, other than like if a deck were to break it, now all of a sudden people need 4 copies of it outside of, Commander. So I would still tread lightly with all of these prices. I expect
all of these prices,
the great bottoming out to happen after the set comes out.
If you're watching this video, the point of this video is not to say whether it's a good price to pre-order or not. None of these prices are the price you should pick these cards up at. You should absolutely wait until they start getting opened. This is stores pre-selling cards that they don't even have on hand yet.
Yeah, they want people to FOMO buy them. Because If I were a store and I sell a card at $40, I've said this before, but it's essentially like shorting a stock, dude.
Right.
You're selling something you don't have, and you're saying, here's this thing. You can buy it from me for this price, and then later on, I'm going to buy it back when it's cheap. And then what happens is I get to pocket that difference, right? That's what happens when you short. So it's like, yeah, if I'm selling something for 40 and I can buy it back later for 20, I might even have on my listing, hey, I'm not going to be able to get this shipped out for 2 weeks until after the set comes out. And that person buys it. And what are you doing during that 2 weeks? You're waiting for prices to adjust, and then you're finding the card and you're making sure that you could sell it to somebody and fulfill what you said you could do. And what's crazy is that in MTG, it's a lot more predictable than the stock market. And so it's like, if you know that this generally happens, you could just pre-sell, FOMO sell a bunch of stuff early, and then know that none of this stuff is going to break out. It's all stuff that was already printed, right? Yes. I mean, a lot of this stuff is already exists. So unless there's a card in the new set that's going to make one of these get absolutely broken and go over the top, it's going to be easy to guess that none of these are going to break out. They do look really cool, though. There's SRAM. I mean, that's pretty sweet. All of these are beautiful.
I think that all of them are really cool. As far as the set within a set, I couldn't agree more. It's such a sick play for a set within a set.
Oh, baby.
It's very commander-centric. It's very business-minded, commander-centric play against a huge legendary set where they're just like, yo, commanders. We've got commanders combined with commanders. You know, a lot of these, you can see that the listing here on Scryfall hasn't quite updated with the current pre-order prices, but that's because those pre-order prices are going to be popping off all over the place for the next couple of weeks. You go, you look at Ragavan, you look at atraxa, you know those are your top 2 hits in that slot. Safe to say your Ichor treatments are going to be up there. Kenrith is one of the most popular commanders.
I have a copy of Cruxa, so I will probably get
the
other copies if I can, just because I like that card and it is a 4 of in some decks in colors that I like to play.
It's the frames of their plane, and so I have a commander deck that is themed like that with the legends that I run in it, and so I want a lot of these, especially the ones that are Mardu. Pretty much all the ones that are Mardu I want.
Tostido says, why buy these when there will be better variations in the future? LOL.
Well, there's 25,000 cards plus in MTG. We got a lot more to get variants of. They're not going to go too hard. I feel like the last 2 years have been a lot of them like completely just blowing their load, and they've got to back off at a certain point and get back to simpler times. So
what's your favorite of these?
I really like the companions. The companions have made me actually want to build a companion commander deck for the first time, which is pretty cool. But like I said, at these, dude, I'm looking for the Mardu Legends Cruxa in their treatment here from their home plane.
I like the Yorion.
Urabrask. Yorion looks tight. I'm a big fan of all the Ikoria ones, honestly.
I like the SRAM. Obviously, the fact that SRAM made it is pretty wild, dude. I can't believe SRAM got a spot, but I mean, SRAM's the man. I love SRAM. It's a great card. And I love that it's finally getting the recognition it deserves, because it's popping up in a lot more decks, and it's such a great card.
This card is implying that SRAM died, because that is a statue.
Let's not get too crazy here.
And the flavor text is a monument inscription. I guess they could have made a monument to a living person, but it seems weird.
Wait a minute. That's not okay.
Uh-oh.
SRAM can't be dead.
Uh-oh.
SRAM died out there fighting this mess.
Like, does that not want to make you build a crazy Garuda deck that's just returning creatures? Doesn't this, dude, as a Rakdos,
that's the face that only a mother could love, am I right?
As a Rakdos damage dealer, bro.
Oh, this one's great.
Like, this makes me want to build an Obosh companion deck. Everything is going to be odd.
I love Obosh decks too. They're cool. They're cool decks.
Odd Obosh, bro.
That is very metal.
And now hang on. I hadn't thought of this, but is this the first time that we've got the flavor or the reminder text of the actual rule after it was errated when they realized that companions were broken? Because it said if it's your chosen companion, you can put it into your hand from outside the game for 3 as a sorcery. And that was not the original rule. So we've got companions now.
Saying, yes, it is.
That's very cool. They errated a rule, and now we have a card reprinted with the actual real rule on it.
They're essentially saying, look, this is something we're probably not going to bring back, right?
Yeah, is that the vibe? They're like, we're done with companion. We tried.
They're good with it. They're good and done.
I think my new favorite frame that I've seen is the Ixalan frame. I think that this
not
is
the emoji?
Dude, my least favorite frame is them taking what was a decent frame and pushing it into horrible territory.
Cringe or Magic Arena. Bringing Magic Arena to life.
It's just like such an overcorrection. I need to hit the go back button. But the Ixalan frame, dude, the coin, the tribal frame,
coin is pretty cool. Oof. I don't know how the coin is going to like when you're sleeving this, how that's going to affect the sleeving and the shuffling, but we'll see how the coin does.
It's a whole new a whole new version of I can't play this because it's bent. I can't play it because it's heavy and
but you
thick.
can see tons of uncommons that are just bad, that are just, or not bad, but just like there are going to be mountains of these cards, chat. I don't think you understand. I really do. There will be mountains of them. Tons of them.
Imagine pulling Yargle. You're going to. You're not going to have to imagine it. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, this card will be 10 cents.
Everybody will go, I pulled Yargle. And then that conversation will be over and you'll be pissed.
I actually, you know, here's my hot take. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I think that Ragavan will be opened so much that card gets down to like 40, 45.
Be careful. I said Dockside would be a $15 card.
Well, that was just insane guess.
Wild finance creator.
That was a wild magic guess there. I do believe that these will be opened so frequently because this means that you're going to have draft packs, right? And correct me if I'm wrong here, but you'll have, if there's one per every pack, you'll have draft packs where you open, you know, 2 mythics. You know, you open the regular mythic from March of the Machine, then you open another mythic. This is going to be a fantastic, very fun draft experience because you're going to have just loaded decks with crazy stuff going on.
Tons of splashy legendary creatures.
Yeah, I think that the monkey will be very cheap. I think all the mythics will be, in general. I mean, how many mythics are there total?
Before I go back and check that, I love the repurposing of the storybook frame into the showcase frame for the plane. I'm a big fan of that, and I just love the art on Kenrith. I think that is the Kenrith you want now. 1, 5, 4 more is 9.
You know, it's kind of calculated, right? Because this is after they've had that big shift in price to the upside.
Yeah.
And so it's like they're almost like, well, we have to make a stacked draft experience if this is going to be the easing in set of more expensive products. But Ragavan has only ever appeared in an expensive set.
Right.
And I'm talking about money. Ragavan's only ever existed.
For sure.
In expensive packs.
Premium sets.
So if you can pull Ragavan in a draft booster, even if it's a small chance, I think it's going to be I think it's going to go through a big adjustment.
Those are the pre-order prices of the most expensive Multiversal Legends so far. Make sure you let us know what your favorite one is in the comment, chat, live chat. Everybody say bye to YouTube. That's it for us. I mean, it's just, dude, I like sets within sets. I am a fan of sets within sets. I think that it's very cool. I think that, you know, the Strixhaven one in particular, I loved how, you know, the like yellow art direction frame of those showcase specialties